What is up, bros? Josh here. In today's video, we're going over Rank Sprint Season 7, which is ship World of Warships, but that means we need to make the best ships to rank out with in Rank Sprint Season 7. Also, this one is going to be a little different. It's 77 Tier 6, so a nice little fun tier. However, they are allowing CVs, so I will do my normal list of best ships for it. However, I will do some maybe alternate lists of each class, assuming there are CVs. I did rank out with one account so far, and there were CVs in about 25% of the games, a little bit, so it is going to affect some of the weight of ships. However, it shouldn't really affect it overall. Also, I am loving Rank Sprint. I would love to see what your guys' thoughts are down below in the comments. What do you think of Rank Sprint so far? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you just not have the time for it still? I think it's been a great addition to the game, and I hope to see it kind of used. I feel like there's even some lost potential here of making a game mode that is kind of maybe a monthly thing, or could be something really fun on a long-term scale with Rank Sprint instead of just something that's a bit more sporadic like it kind of is right now. But anyways, let's dive into the ships. So just a quick disclaimer before we dive into the top ships per class. This is Rank Sprint. It's a much more fun, not serious game mode compared to normal ranked battles. In normal ranked battles, you may have to use some of the quote-unquote meta ships to have a more successful season. With Rank Sprint, you can seriously go in and just rank out with any ship you want. So in the end, pick a ship that you enjoy to play. Make this as much fun as possible. It's a fun, not serious game mode, and you just go out there and have some fun. However, this will hopefully give you an idea if you maybe want to have a bit more success and a bit more consistent success throughout your entire Rank Sprint season. So let's start out with the big bad battleships for Tier 6, and I think we're going to start with the queen of Tier 6 battleships, which is the Fuso. I think the Fuso is probably going to be one of the best choices. Not only is it just amazing, it's just an amazing battleship. This is a keeper. I don't think I've ever met anyone that doesn't really like the Fuso. This is just a solid pick. There are some ships that are going to be a little bit better in certain situations. However, this is going to be so consistent. It's accurate, has a good reload, has lots of shells going out. Also, when it gets into a battleship, as people talk about metas and whatnot, Tier 6 tends to be a very popular tier for battleships because there's so many good ones. The Fuso is definitely going to be one that is going to win a lot of those fights due to its ability to, yes, spam HE. We saw that in many seasons before when normal rank was Tier 6. Fuso with HE is pretty nasty and can definitely burn down the competition. Also, it's low profile, having kind of a smaller superstructure and really kind of trolley armor. The Fuso is just a solid pick. You will definitely get a lot of success with this, and I highly recommend it as my top pick for Tier 6 battleships. At number 2, I'm going to give it to the Royal Navy counterpart to the Fuso, and that is the Warspite. This thing is so freaking good, and one of the main reasons why this thing is good is it can repair a lot of its citadel damage. However, the downside is it does have a weak repair against fires, a very small window, but the Warspite tends to do so well. It's very tanky, it's very beefy, it has nice secondaries, it also has nice AA, but those guns really slam. I was playing this a little bit on the first account we ranked out with and was having a lot of success. It just kind of wrecks everything. It's great at brawling and can actually have a big health pool. The Warspite is going to be a great pick if you want to have some kind of battleship. Just overall a fantastic ship, and you can have a lot of success. This kind of goes into the next ones, which are kind of all going to float a little bit. I think something like the Arizona. Didn't really see a lot of them the first time I went through Rank Sprint, but the Arizona is just a tried and true pick. Another great one, great guns, accurate, and can do really well in tanking situations. Also, for a battleship, I guess it's kind of stealthy. Downside is it does have a lower AA compared to some of its counterparts, but still, the Arizona will be a fantastic pick. It kind of rounds out my top 3. Another great pick is just going to be the Tier 6 Tech Tree counterpart, which is the New Mexico. This ship is going to be awesome if you want to pick it, and could be very nice if you don't have one of the premium ships I just went over. Also, things like the Ismail, the Tier 6 Russian battleship, will also get you a lot of great success. Can be great, and you know, it's Russian. It's going to do pretty well. Also, very accurate within that 12-kilometer range for Russian battleships. Could be a great asset. A ship that I think doesn't quite get enough credit, I think the Baron is also fantastic, and as well as having one of the highest AA ratings at Tier 6. I really enjoyed this. I kind of played this ship like a flanking ships for one of the Rank Sprint seasons. Was a lot of fun, had great success. Again, a nice brawler as well. Downside is mediocre range. Same with the Warspite, going to be one of the downsides, but still, a Baron is very fun. And I think one of the other ones that kind of rounds out this is maybe the Queen Elizabeth. This one also pretty good. Not quite as, I guess, as good as the rest. Could do quite well as well. So kind of in this tiering. Also, my kind of dark horse is the West Virginia, I think this ship is very mediocre when it comes to cruisers and destroyers, but the more battleships you're going to face in your games, the better that West Virginia gets. It has very big guns for this tier, huge guns for this tier, and it absolutely smashes battleships. It tends to overpen cruisers a lot because the shells are so big, and also it only has 8 shells going out, so not very good against DDs. Also mediocre AA as well, but the West Virginia does very, very well against battleships. Again, lots of choices here at tier 6. This is maybe some of this wasn't perfectly in order, but still I think the Fuso is probably going to be the best choice, and then following some of the tried and true Warspite Arizona. But there's still a lot of good tech tree ships out there for battleships if you want to check them out. New Mexico, the Ismail, the Baron, as well as the Queen Elizabeth, I think will all do pretty well, and then the West Virginia too. The more battleships there are, the better it will do. There are some other here like the Mutsu and the Normandy and Dunkirk. If you want to play them, play them. They're not going to be extremely good. Again, so if I missed any of these, just because they're not on my top list doesn't mean you can't rank out. But I just think there are some that are definitely going to stand out. And battleships are just so stacked at tier 6. Any of these will get you to rank 1. Don't worry about it, and pick whatever one you have the most fun in. Cruisers at tier 6 tend to have a rough time, and that is because the first ships we just went over are so good. So things we're going to be looking at for cruisers are going to be ones that have smoke, meaning you have a place to hide at all times. So that is going to put a couple of these kind of ahead of the others, and the rest are going to kind of fall behind, in my opinion. A lot of games I saw were really battleships and destroyers. Obviously, it is still rank sprint, so it's kind of just whatever people bring. And this season is also just one big bracket, so there's not like a starting bracket and then a more advanced bracket. It's just everyone, so it's kind of just madness. You'll get random games of lots of DDs, lots of battleships, lots of cruisers. I had one game even with no DDs, which was kind of funny. But still, the best cruisers at this tier are going to be ones that have smoke. So I'm actually going to put the Perth as the top pick I would do. It has very, very low detection to help you get destroyer kills. It has sonar, and it has a spotter plane, and it has a great guns, high alpha damage with inertia fuse as well, and it has smoke, so it has a way to kind of defend itself when it comes to a lot of battleships putting in shells. However, keep moving in that smoke so you don't get blasted with the spotter plane. The Perth, though, very, very, very good. Also, a tech tree ship that could also do very well that has smoke is the Leander. This thing always has a good win rate with really good players. However, again, very, very fragile, but this ship was really good if played correctly. Again, bringing the same kind of thing as the Perth does. Low detection, hydro, smoke. Could be very, very very good at setting up a early kill on a DD, giving your team that advantage. Also, that AP, if set up correctly, is just so punishing at this tier. Murdering cruisers, battleships for big salvos, and if you're a destroyer that runs into a Leander and they know how to aim, you're going to be feeling some pain if you get spotted. So again, the Leander is going to be fantastic. I might even throw the Huang He in a little bit if played correctly. It's basically a weaker Perth, but it has some higher AA. Definitely still got to give it something because it has smoke. Still going to be kind of behind the rest of these. Also, a couple of cruisers that are not smoke cruisers that I've seen done pretty well. Buddy we're going to be looking at range on these. The Buddy can also burn down a lot of ships, but this is just a tough tier for cruisers. If you're firing your shells, you're spotted at max range. So the Buddy, 16.6, basically every battleship of that tier can hit you. So cruisers having a tough time. So Buddy, very doable. Also saw some Nürnbergs doing pretty well. Again, these cruisers are going to do better the more destroyers there are, worse the more battleships there are. So depending on the matchmaking you get, you'll either have a very easy job or a very tough job. So more battleships, very, very bad. More destroyers, very, very good. If there is a one battleship, 4 destroyer multi-cruiser game, the Nürnberg is almost god tier. If there's 4 battleships, you are so scared for your life. So the Nürnberg, very hot and cold. Again, you'll have the Russian counterpart because they're not that one. No, it's that one. Basically, the Russian counterpart. It's almost the exact same thing. So both of these are going to do pretty well. I saw a couple Dallases do okay when it came to it. You just have to play so passive. That's the downside. And when you have to play passive, when it comes to cruisers, you just don't get much done. So also de Grasse did pretty well. Just being able to have mobility, same with the Glass, it did okay. Still overall though, just a pretty weak tier. Not that the ships themselves are weak, it's just that the ships that counter these ships are so good. It's a very tough tier for cruisers. So again, I would go with something that is stealthy, with the Leander or the Perth if you have it. Maybe even the Huang He could be decent, or something with long range, so the farther away. So I saw like Pensacola's were out there getting absolutely obliterated. I saw plenty of ships, the Molotovs out there with their stubby arms with only the 15-kilometer range. Albas too, just getting dev struck off the planet. So if you want to go with a cruiser, go with something stealthy or go with something with long range. Those will help you a lot. Or you can play something like the Dallas or something like maybe the Alba and just play super patient, but that doesn't seem quite fun to me. But overall, it kind of a weak tier when it comes to a game mode like this for cruisers, just because battleships are so good. Now we're on to my favorite class, and that is the destroyers. And this is pretty easy. This really hasn't changed too much, but the T-61 by far, not even close, the best DD at this tier. The T-61 not only stealthy, it has hydro, it has fast torps, it has good guns. The T-61 is the primo of the prime of the primo destroyers at tier 6. Will do so well. Easily the best pick for this tier. I don't really need to say much else than that. It's super stealthy, super good, and overall just a monstrous DD to deal with. Followed up by the IJN counterpart to this, which is the Shinonome. Shinonome also very good, spamming out torps, very, very fast torp reload, as well as having good guns. Very underrated guns. I would play probably this a bit more of a gunboat build, and you could really have a lot of control. Those IJN torps just hit so hard, but also the guns hit hard too, just have a longer reload. Pretty good stealth as well, and just could be an absolute terror. After that, it's going to be kind of a couple opinion-based, for me at least, where I'm going to have stuff like the Farragut and the Monahan. Both of these are both really good when it comes to protecting themselves against CVs, some of the only ones at this tier that have AA consumable if you want to. Also, the guns are really good on this. Farragut we ranked out with, and it's just so good with radiolocation. You have a higher detection, but still can make up for that by knowing where the enemy target is. So the Farragut is just so strong. Also, getting able to kind of get into an area where you can smoke up and farm a lot of damage can be very, very good. The main battery on the USN destroyer is just so strong and could be very solid. Also, things like the Icarus have been pretty solid as well. Having that nice little sonar is pretty good. Also, the plenty of smoke, which is Royal Navy's DDs have just been proven to be so good. The Icarus quite strong, and you can get a lot of damage done with that. That Hydro is just so nice defending yourself. And then you have to throw in stuff like the Hatsu. The Hatsu, another stealthy DD, if played correctly, can be quite good. So definitely one to pick up. But those are going to be kind of the rest of the tier. After that, it's kind of just a mishmash of some different play. I've been seeing a lot of people. Oh, I almost forgot. The Anshin. The Anshin obviously is a really, really strong pick. It has those 130mm guns, but still slow turrets on this, but still an overall strong ship. This is a good pick for a lot of people. They love this ship. For me, in all of the season of Tier 6, I have yet to be impressed by any Anshan play. I feel like there's so many other DDs that kind of do what it does better. The Anshan's still scary to run into just because it's high alpha on its guns, but I'm more scared of, a Shinonome, or I'm more scared of a T-61, or even going against the Farragut when I'm playing a destroyer than I am the Anshan. The Anshan to me just isn't my play style. I don't really like the ship that much, but I know a lot of people really enjoy it and can enjoy this ship playing through rank sprint. This could be a very, very successful pick. After that, I've been seeing some Aglas. They're not super strong, but they can be fun to play. A couple Gallants as well, trying to do their best. But really, it's kind of those top picks. You have T-61 Shinonome, a big gap, maybe some of the USN DDs and some Anshan. Then after that, you got the tech tree ships like the Icarus and maybe the Hatsu if you want. Other than that, everything's going to be kind of below that for strength. I even saw a couple of the French destroyer playing, not super strong. If played correctly, can be annoying, however, still not very strong. Last but not least, this is a tier that has CVs, so let's briefly talk about them, and that is, we're going to give it to the Ryujo. The Ryujo has been the strongest one I've seen so far. Now, I have only seen CVs in about a quarter of the matches, and really the games kind of go so fast, I haven't seen so much of an impact from CVs so far, but there was a game where the enemy team had a good CV and ours did not, and it was an absolute slaughter. We stood no chance. So CV is still very controlling at this tier since they've just gone. AA has gone through a bit of a change, as well as CV getting some buffs as well. The Ryujo has just been so good. Its ability with good rockets, the AP dive bombers just obliterating cruisers, as well as the torpedoes just being super solid as well. The Ryujo stands out to me as being one of the best, if not the best at this tier, and really, really strong. May even play a little bit of this when we go through another account, who knows, but we will definitely check it out. Other things like the Furious. Furious has done pretty well if done correctly. Its ability to get some strikes in has been pretty solid. And then Rangers. I just really haven't seen many CVs, I'll be honest. And the CVs I've seen have been the Ryujo. So Ranger versus Furious, I'm really not sure. It's been kind of a mix. I've only think I had one game with a Ranger against me, and I think one game with a Furious against me. The rest have just been Ryujo. Everyone's been picking Ryujo just because it's so much stronger. So if you are trying to pick a CV for tier 6, I would definitely go with Ryujo. It is just kind of so much better than the rest and still very solid. Again, only seeing CVs about 25% of the games I've gone through so far. However, they are out there, so just be careful and definitely want to start bringing. I would probably just bring Hydro if you're going to go with the cruiser. I think that's definitely a pick right there. AA, just I wouldn't really spec into it. It's tough when you know they're not going to be there, but still, tier 6 is the Fusos tier, and if you want something that's just solid and has really stood the test of time, definitely want to do that. Me, I'm a DD player. I love playing the Farragut, so I'll definitely be doing that as well. But anyways, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Rank Sprint and what you guys are using to rank out in Rank Sprint. Also, are you messing around and maybe playing with some weird ships? And that's not kind of what I always do. I have a few accounts that I play on for Rank Sprint, and I always try to pick maybe a bit more challenging ships, not quite the meta. Again, you can go out there and rank out with whatever ship you want. Go have some fun, go have a good time, play with a friend. Remember, you can div in Rank Sprint, so go out there and have fun with a friend or a clanmate or something like that, and just go win some games and get some coal and get some cool stuff. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope this video helps you get rank 1 in Rank Sprint, and good luck to everyone out there playing in Rank Sprint. Anyways, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.